It's the world of MakingStarWars.net. And Rob, what show are you on today? Remote control?
Remote control.
Remote control. All right.
I love the show. Hate Colin Quinn. Fucking hate that
Oh,
guy.
Colin
But
Quinn.
it was always tough.
Wait, is
Hmm?
Colin Quinn a jerk or something?
No. He's a certainly nice guy. Just you ever have someone just? It's kind of like me, like when I speak and I talk and people just hate it.
I
That's
hate
how I
you.
feel about
Yeah.
Colin Quinn. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. His timing is like the show's good. It's got early Adam Sandler. It's got like a storyline to the game show, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But they made Colin Quinn the sidekick, and his
Mm-hmm.
timing, like, he's in another fucking world, man. Like it's just.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the show. I still like the
Yeah.
show. Like
So we
Star
had a
Wars. I hate most of it, but I like just enough to be, a fake fan.
yeah. I mean, just like that Mission Impossible fake fan you are. Didn't even go opening day. I mean,
Opening
I
days
don't know who
today. I
you
went a
are.
day early. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No.
And I
You didn't
bought
go
my
a day
ticket for
early. It
Friday,
was
and I bought a ticket for Saturday. I told you 3 times.
You are a little cult member. You know that? I went to it. I fell asleep in that. I fell asleep in that movie. That was just a normal boring dad
All
movie.
right.
I
Well,
was like I was
to be
like
fair,
watching
you
those
bought a
Russians on.
$5 muffin right outside the movie theater, like 20 minutes before. So
No, not before. That was down in Echo Park on a
I like
date.
when Jason busts out the beer and the strike news in the same move. Like,
Yeah. Um dude, I got up today and did all of my stuff. I was like, oh, I need to go to the grocery store. The kids are home because it's summer. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to 7-Eleven. We'll just we'll get our rations for the afternoon. And I went to two 7-Elevens, and somebody at 7-Eleven doesn't know that you need to order stuff after the 4th of July and before the 4th of July. So there was just nothing. I expect the last hour, driving from store to store, going there's nothing, and then I'm like, fine, I'm just gonna go to McDonald's, get my Dr Pepper on. They're out, and I'm like, I officially live in a town of idiots who do not know how to run stores. So yeah, but
hmm
back in the day when when I worked at a store, if you forgot to order the syrup and stuff for the sodas, they didn't schedule you. They punished you for that shit. But
yeah.
I'm not saying I like that, but it's like, geez, how do all of these people fuck up so hard? And so now I'm drinking, a Pacifico at 1 o'clock. It's not too bad, but usually I don't drink beer. So, but it's all I got. But
That's all you
anyways,
got.
it's all I got. But
You
yeah,
ever
before we
you
get
ever
into the
put out
Star
a
Wars
beer for
news,
Santa on Chris Jason? You ever put out a beer for Santa on Christmas,
hmm
and then he just drives a sleigh into like the Pope's
this
house or
this
something?
year I'm putting out some muffins from Echo Park.
Don't don't. Why are you doing that?
So this right
Jason's.
here
Yeah, go
is
ahead.
we've been talking about the strike and stuff, and this right here this is kind of what I expected. Like I said, they're doing the whole thing where they go easy on the directors to make the writers seem like they're women. And when I say women, I mean in the sexist way of, oh, they just get up and they start bitching. That's bitch, but the directors are the grown-ups. They want to put that kind of attitude out there. And it's part of the game. And at the end of the day, it's all going to just get resolved because everyone's going to need to go back to work at some point. So that's what they're trying to really punish them for this. They're trying to make it where in 3 years they don't want to strike again. So, but check it out. Hollywood Studios, this is from Deadline. Hollywood Studios WGA strike endgame is to let writers go broke before resuming talks in the fall. Exclusive, updated with AMPTP statement. Regardless of whether SAG AFTRA goes on strike this week, the studios have no intention of sitting down with the Writers Guild for several more months. I think we're in for a long strike, and they're going to let it bleed out, said one industry veteran intimate with the POV of studio CEOs. With the scribe strike now finishing its 71st day and the Actors Union just 30 hours from a possible labor action of its own, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers are planning to dig in hard this fall before entertaining the idea of more talks with the WGA. I've learned. Not Hollywood precisely, but late October for sure is the intention, says a top-tier producer closer to the Carol Lombardini-run AMPTP. While some dismiss this as just cynical strike talk, studio and streamer sources around town confirm the strategy. They also confirm that the plan is to grind down the guild, has long been in the works for a labor cycle with all sides agree in a game changer, one way or another for Hollywood. I've been agreed. It's been agreed to for months, even before the WGA went out. One executive said nobody wanted a strike, but everybody knew this was a make or break. Receiving positive feedback from Wall Street, and since the WGA strike went on strike May 2nd, Warner Brothers Discovery, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, Paramount, and others have become determined to break the WGA, as one studio exec blatantly put it. To do so, the studio and the AMPTP believe that that by October, most writers will be running out of money after 5 months of the picket lines and no work. The end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses, a studio executive told Deadline, acknowledging the cold as ice approach. Several other sources reiterated the statement. One insider called it a cruel but necessary evil. Fuck off. The studio and streamers next think financially strapped writers would go to WGA leadership and demand they restart talks before what could be a very cold Christmas. Fuck your Christmas and this year. If you give out this Christmas, you're giving out every Christmas and every Hanukkah and every Kwanzaa, whatever it is, for the rest of your life. Don't do it. In that context, the studios and streamers feel that they would be in a position to dictate most of the terms of any possible deal. The severe method comes out of the Guild's successful battle with the agencies in 2021 over dismantling the lucrative practice of packaging. The WGA picked off one agency after another until final holdout WME backed down, a tactic seen as a warning sign by many in the studio as streamers see sweeps. Convinced that giving in, as another insider put it, the writers will result in every contract cycle from the WGA, IATSE, and the Teamsters, and more ending in a strike. The AMPTP is aiming for the bottom line. Publicly, the AMPTP are refuting the so-called October surprise.
PP.
These anonymous people are not speaking on behalf of the AMPTP or member companies.
PP.
We're committed to reaching a deal and getting our industry back to work. A lying ass spokesman for the organization says. So it's fucking lying. This is the strategy. This is what they're all saying it. It's not just randomly coming up out of their ass. Still, since the WGA called the first strike in 15 years in early May, there has been no discussion between the AMPTP and the Guild, despite persistent public Guild offers to meet. I mean, back in my day, our problem was OPP. Sources close to the AMPTP insist that there's been no direct offer from the WGA leadership to resume talks. Still, as pickets went up and production shut down in the strike's early weeks, studio bosses almost uniformly offered banal praise to the writers, but no public proposals to get them back to work. And now remember, everyone, the important thing to remember here is the directors got what they wanted. We think most likely SAG is going to get what it wants. All that is really on the table if they concede to what was fair to the directors, to the writers, which only makes sense. It doesn't actually make sense. It's not fair to the writers and it's fair to the directors. That just doesn't make sense. It's like, this is a fair way to be paid or it's not. All that's left is that writer's room. I don't see why that one's hard, which is what I've been saying, right? Would you think that's fair to say? That's what I've been saying. Like the small writers room, there's compromises that need to be made. Like I said, they need to declare, is this a one writer show or is it a writer's room? And if it's over a certain amount of people, it becomes a writer's room. When it becomes a writer's room, then therefore it's 8 writers, whatever happens to be. Like there's clear methods and policies that you could set.
Yeah. So if it were me, it'd be 2 or more.
2 or more. Yeah. A trio's not too normal, I would say, in Hollywood.
No, the minute there's a plural, there's a plural, Jason. This is really simple, you know?
I mean, if the Lego guys want to get together and write something together, they should be able to do it. Like I think, and I think if the guy who writes, Yellowstone wants to go solo, you should be able to do it.
Yeah. But
The thing is when they use writers as contingent labor, like they're picking them up from Home Depot because they're not citizens, and that they could take advantage of them and then toss them out and overwork them and shit. Like the Home Depot model, that shit's what needs to die. That's where. But this isn't I don't think this is a hard thing to bargain out. So what this article is saying has been the subtext of the whole situation. They want to choke the writers out. They're hoping to either break them or fucking spank them into submission.
Right.
That sounds a lot hotter than it is. It's not that hot.
The studios ultimately in the short term could care less who's writing what. I believe they could give a fuck less. They don't care if it's.
I've been around these people, dude. I've been around these people in Hollywood. The people that are executives, they're all trust fund babies. They don't. They learn 4 or 5 authors or writers, and then they go, "Oh yeah, I know the industry." They don't give a shit about who does what. They don't even know. They have no idea. They're just asleep at the wheel collecting the cash.
What they don't like is, if you want my opinion, dude, like, since writers get so much credit for the creation of things and like that they get some form of like bargaining, you know what I mean? They get more clout these days than directors. Like if this were the 70s, maybe the writers would have been done by now and the directors would be held up. You see what I mean?
I think that's been probably, I'm guessing, a component of television. Like we tend to undervalue TV directors and put a lot of emphasis on the writers and then we see those writers, quote, graduate, which I don't agree with that term, but graduate to film. And then it kind of continues on. That's what I think I've seen. Does that sound like it's probably
Joe B. Harold went from Kenobi to Transformers. So,
to be fair, his name does sound like Obi-Wan almost. But Bespin chimes in and says, SAG was due to go on strike today after the extension ended. They're now in mediation with the studio's over a deal, so the extension has seemingly been extended. So what it seems like their method is, give SAG and give the WGA what they want. Like I said, to make the writers seem like a Karen. That seems to be the method. I honestly think that's what I'm seeing in this. So anyways,
Karen Allen ever do to deserve that trouble, huh?
Karen Allen. Well, to be fair, Indiana Jones 4, she kind of was the worst thing about it. In the meantime, as network schedules shift to unscripted shows and streamers buy up foreign content, come on, man, what about USA? The studios and streamers have been saving money on shuttered productions and cost cutting. Yeah, you're saving money, but you're not making any real money, you fucking idiots. You know? I don't have Disney Plus right now, and I'm definitely going to have it a fuck ton less in the next year. Like that's without saying, like,
Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it for what, the 2 months that Ahsoka's on. I'm going to subscribe the day the show comes out, and then I'm gonna keep it for the 2 months, a month and a half or whatever, and then I'm gonna fucking unsubscribe from it because I don't need shows about Jeff Goldblum's wacky globe-trotting adventure. I don't need shows about.
Took that off.
I know they should have. I don't need their bullshit. I just want the Star Wars shows. And in fact, if I could just buy the Star Wars shows outright on Vudu or whatever, Amazon, I would just do that instead at this point, because I think their service sucks dick, and not good dick, like floppy donkey dick. All right, even in the 160,000 members, yeah,
it's got DuckTales.
They're gonna take it off. Don't worry. Even in the, I'm just kidding, but probably.
I stole it already, so just in case.
Even in the 160,000 member SAG after joins the WGA on the picket lines, the studio hopes to get the actors back to the negotiating table in a few weeks. See, realistically, this is a big problem with American labor in general. They all needed to stand in solidarity. They all needed to meet up and agree what their actual baseline terms were, and then leave it. And if they had done that, they would have had them by the balls. And I think now I'm understanding why the directors look like a bunch of little bitches when they did what they did. Why so many people were angry. I looked at from a factual level, And I'm like, well, they got what everybody wants. So I'm like, it's a good thing, right? But looking at how it's going now, I don't know if it was, I'm not so
Yeah,
sure. We'll have to see how it shakes out. I don't know. This is something where, it could go either way, but when you get down to it, we have until October is what they're saying. So remember, that's when Mandalorian was supposed to be filming. That ain't never happening, right? And then now we're
no.
moving on well beyond that. Like, this is good. This fucks everything up
But it's
because
already written.
that's also assuming that not even, that doesn't even matter. But when we go back to if we go to October, it doesn't mean that the writers sit down and say yes. Because that's the other thing is when you fuck somebody over so hard they have nothing left to lose, when the writers have lost their apartments and they're living together, you know what I mean? Or they're going back home or whatever it happens to be, they now have absolutely no reason to comply. What they need to do if they wanted to successfully do this, which is maybe what they are doing, is to take it as close to the line, then meet. But if this is saying, "Oh, we're gonna break them, then meet," you don't break them, then meet. You take them close to breaking, then meet, and then, like, that's one of the ways that cultures enforce civility, and you know what I'm saying. Like, if you have a mortgage, you're less likely to go out and riot. You know what I'm saying? But in this sort of
I don't know.
instance,
Logan Paul, he was at the mall rioting. Remember?
oh yeah, that's.
No.
Because I guess he believes Black Lives Matter. I don't know. Logan Paul beats me, but
I told you, word of mouth spreads, man. If people tell you it's fun to loot, you'll go do it. Doesn't matter if you're rich or not, right?
it's true. But
influencers.
Yeah, this is the worst case scenario. This is the dumbest thing that they could do, in my opinion. It's just cruel to be cruel, and I honestly, I think it goes beyond. It goes too far, and I don't know. It just the next years are going to be
Jason,
shit.
I think I got tagged like 700 fucking times today by Jim Perry over fucking Kenobi's Emmy nominations today, right? Which, hey, look, if you like the show, congratulations. You should be able to root for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be tagged 12 fucking times on it. It'd be like if it got a Razzie and I was tagging you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know where you're going with this, but all right. The thing, though, is if you keep, like, setting the bar at good enough and just to appease, like, 3 people, eventually, man, you end up at a point where people just tune out. Like, and if you're like, we don't need these writers, we don't need to put any effort in, we can just fucking get the next kid off a fucking bus and burn them into the ground, like scorched earth policy. Like, there's gonna be a lot of, look, no offense, man, I haven't, if I can see any consistency in the fucking Marvel movies over the last 3 years, is that they went and got all the Rick and Morty writers. And that, you know what I mean? Versus actual screenwriting people. And it's like, I don't know if that was a good move,
Right.
For every movie to have a Rick and Morty guy attached to it. Right. So, like, that graduating thing doesn't always work, and fucking being like, we can replace talent because they're disposable. It's just like the most disposable people are fucking CEOs. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, like I've seen very few. Some do it. Some, hey man, Lucas had vision at one point. You know what I mean? Like, he knew what he was doing, like, to an extent. Like,
yeah, the Horatio Alger pulling yourself up from your bootstraps to become a CEO narrative that lightly applies to Luke. And I say lightly because he was already pretty well off. Is it the same as these other places? Is it he wasn't part of the ruling class, so to speak. Yeah. And that's,
they've already dismantled movie stars, right? In a way.
Yeah.
Like,
well, what is this Flickstore.id? I would have an ad blocker and something on when I go there if I were you, because I don't know what it is, but it's apparently where you can say fuck your studios and just watch whatever you want.
Don't support that, Jason.
I do support it. You know what? I think we don't have to do the show no more. Yeah, it ain't making money. But it's like when we get down to it, like it is to a spot where maybe fans need to support the writers of the shows that they're on. I don't know if that's what they should do. I don't know if that's the answer, but I am kind of like, thinking
look,
that's
we're
where
not
this
the
needs
only
to
ones
go.
who have conflicting. Look, let me give you
Yeah.
a real example of our conflicting things to do. Right, I was watching Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin 2 days ago. They did a new episode of Fat Man on Batman. You know, and like Mark's out there every day, mostly every day, picketing, right? Because he's a writer.
Okay.
Kevin's a writer, but he's also a director. And Kevin's like, well, I'm prepping my $3 million
I thought you were
movie.
gonna say,
You know what I
but he's
mean?
also a bit portly, and it's not really his
No,
thing.
Kevin's in
I
super shape,
understand.
dude.
Yeah,
No.
I know. You know, I
But
understand.
what I was trying to say is he's like, yeah, if it's under 3 million, you can do this and that. And
Mm-hmm.
people are like, I don't know if that's true. Like, at the end of the day, it's like Kevin's trying to work and the other guy's trying to like, I don't know. There isn't even solidarity really amongst those two.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not really saying it on air. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of like skirting around it.
Well, yeah, that's because everybody's out for themselves, as
Right.
opposed to being out for one another. That's just
Yeah.
what it is. What it is, and that's why we have this fucking myth that you're all going to be rich. Every single fucking person I ever talk to thinks they're too going to be rich someday. It's only a matter of time, and none of you are going to be rich. You're all buying into a fantasy that allows them to do this kind
Universal
of
basic income would solve some of this problem, at least for the
yeah.
writers, right? They'd have something. They'd have a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And that baseline, if it was, a living standard, would be like, yeah, I can get by.
Yeah.
What's really gonna hurt is the $1 billion you're not gonna get. I will not. This whole like we can just bleed him out because
You know what? I
we've
would rather
pilfered
pay
the
cops
coffin so much.
$90,000 to attack encampments of people that are homeless. I'd rather do that instead because it just lines with my values, my core values.
We on Santa show?
Rob, you haven't been in California in quite a while, and I think you would be shocked about like when you just go to any freeway overpass or underpass or little thing
No, I'm not
roundabouts and
sure.
stuff.
I'm
There's like little villages there. That wasn't there
Yeah.
last time you were here. That's
Yeah.
like it's all in Southern California. It's everywhere. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's shanty towns, man. I mean,
Yeah.
if people don't know the story about Elliot Nash, the untouchable guy, right? Elliot, what's his fucking name? The fucking Kevin Costner played fucking the
Oh,
untouchables
okay.
guy, right?
Yeah.
That guy, they had to go, that dude in real life went up against one of the first known serial killers in America,
Mm-hmm.
and they burnt down an entire shanty town, like to try to get him, and that didn't do shit,
Yeah.
And I just think back to like, oh man, we're just back to 100 years ago, you know what I mean? Where we're back to Rockefellers and fucking plebes, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only
Like
it's
even
just
Marx. I mean, if you read Marx writes about I think he calls them lumpens, Lumpen, and he's like, you're always gonna have lumpens. I think that's what he called them. And it's just like basically like lazy assholes, you're always gonna have it. And it's like, yeah, of course. And then that makes sense.
but it's cheaper to
But
give those people fucking homes and let everyone else really
yes.
prosper. You know what I mean? Than it is to let half the fucking country, if not most of the country, go into fucking abject poverty so that fucking 10% can live like fuck. This is not going to work, man.
Yeah.
Feudalism's not the answer.
No,
Elliot
no.
Ness, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
I'm
you,
not.
Shagan.
I see colors, man. When I see words, so I get the fucking colors all mixed up.
Colors. Colors. Remember
It's
that?
an E brown. It's a green brown. E green
Sean,
ends brown. I knew it was there. Thank you. Elliot Ness, thank you.
Jonesy says, I'm a bit worried about the strong leading female protagonist in the Ahsoka series. Hollywood mass produces these, but they always lose their feminine side and must always appear masculine. Does not work. And I don't know. I mean, like when I'm looking at the Ahsoka series and the heroes in it, Jonesy, Sabine, I mean, other than she cuts her hair, but I mean, that chick could shave her head and not look masculine to me. Does that make sense? Like, so on the one hand,
I think it's important for director, and I was listening to Macquarie and them talk about this for a while, and I've listened to Cameron, and I listened to female directors, and I think what's really important is that actors are encouraged to work with the director on their characters, so that the actor's bringing that part to it, because no writer can figure every personality down on the page. It's kind of not the point.
yeah.
The point is really for the actor to help build that character out, and with the story, but that those things come across. That's a director actor relationship, really.
My takeaway from what he's mentioning is what you have is they try to make a character that is so appealing across so many different demographics that it doesn't matter if the person's masculine or feminine. Yeah, it could be a man or a woman cast. Like Rey in the sequel trilogy could have been a man or a woman cast in the part. It wouldn't have mattered. And then, but then what you end up where you have to almost eschew romance. And then when you do put it in there, it's half-assed, it's half-baked. And some of that's cultural norms because of what, you know, and remember, like everybody, all cultures have different ideas about what's masculine and what's feminine. You know, that's just the way we are. These things aren't natural. It's culture. We create it. We define it and we decide what is masculine and feminine and these kinds of scenarios. And so they have to make it like where it applies to a lot of different people. But I'm kind of with you in the sense that it like that's what I liked about like Mon Mothma. Like Mon Mothma's a woman in Andor, but she also has to be a mom to a fucking little asshole and a fucking dumbass husband. Like in that, and I'm sure that the anti woke feminist people.
Jason,
that's sort of what you end up with. Yeah.
You cut out for a second. That's all.
Oh, my back.
Yeah, you're back.
All right. But and Bespin is a lumpin. As one from one lumpin to another. It's nice to meet you. But yeah, so anyways, in that Ahsoka stuff yesterday, we had a little bit.
Hold on. I just want to tail my end on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've just rewatched, you know, with my wife, like like all fucking 7 seasons of Buffy, and you know, I still think that show does it some of the best, you know, in terms of handling those types of things, you know, like and adjusting those personalities. And so having a varied, you know, I mean, Joss Whedon didn't write all the fucking episodes. Jane Espenson and Dan Greenwald and a bunch of fucking people were on that, you know. So again, we tend to like always give the credit to one person, you know.
The auteur theory.
Yeah, but that's not how that was done. So you know,
it's just one man who could change it all. One man to save us. That's the myth. But yeah, I mean, that's, and I don't personally don't like that. I'm not a fan of now that you are the every person hero, you have lost your sexuality and you've lost your masculinity or your femininity. Both. I think you should be able to have either. You know what I mean? And still do those parts. But
Sigourney Weaver and Aliens too, man. Even in Alien 1, but 2 is so good.
I remember when I was like 9 or something, I saw her in her underwear, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I like this."
The end of Alien 1.
I like this a lot. I was like, "This is pretty cool." I don't know what this is, but I like it. I like space. And then now I'm like in my 40s, and I'm like, I like space, and I'm like, nah, I don't like space. I just like Sigourney Weaver in her underwear. All right, Star Wars Ahsoka, name of the mysterious inquisitor revealed. Guys, I think we all know it's Barra Sophie, and if it doesn't, we're going to strike with the WGA in solidarity, right? Somebody said it yesterday. I hear it all the time. I'm not making fun of the person who said that yesterday, by the way. I hear it all the time. Yeah.
I was watching Santa today, and he goes, if they don't get Thrawn right, Santa's not going to be happy. I'm like, man, dude, that's all right. You know?
Did you ever hear about when that guy made the Killdozer?
Killdozer.
Yeah, this guy got like a bulldozer, and he like reinforced it with steel, and he went on like a fucking rampage with it, and he called it the Killdozer.
Oh no!
I'm just saying, Santa.
Why isn't Eli Roth making that movie?
Why isn't Elon Musk?
Why did he make Borderlands?
Ditching the fucking Cybertruck and making the Killdozer for public consumption since he likes to start fires? You know,
I had no idea that dude had directed like parts of Borderland, and they've since removed him because he was on Tarantino's podcast last year, like for a bit, and then they got into a topic about like Tarantino was like, yeah, that's why I always turn down big budget movies, and I guess that's why he was like talking shit about that in a roundabout way, you know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, okay,
all right. Yeah. So this is from bestmanbulletin.org. Fans have seen various glimpses of a mysterious inquisitor in multiple pieces of Ahsoka marketing material, but now the identity of the villain has seemingly been revealed. Support Bespin on Patreon and Coffee. Following the release of the long-awaited official trailer for Ahsoka, Disney have uploaded high-quality stills from the trailer to their all-access pages, which ironically I sent to you yesterday, Bespin, but I didn't read it. You know why? Because they sent it to me in the middle of the night when I was sleep. I woke up and I just said, I got the pictures, Bespin. Get out my fucking back. And then he writes back, he's like, there's only 6 pictures. And I'm like, I take it up with Disney. All right.
You woke up and he was like, I want a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
I want to get a Dr. Pepper. And I can't get no pepper.
So I wake up and it's like, he's like, it's 12 o'clock my time. I'm awake and I'm chipper as hell. And I'm like, what are you talking
I'm going to drink a Pacifico.
Where am I right now? All right. When scrolling went through and coming across a still of mysterious inquisitor, we see our hero, Ahsoka Tano, facing off against the latest trailer. I noticed that the name of the character had been listed on the site. In the listing, if it is to be believed and should be considered their official press ready releases from Disney themselves, the Inquisitor set to feature in the upcoming Ahsoka series is named Marrok. I am Marrok. Marrok wants to inquisite. Inquisite shall Marrok. In addition, it's mentioned
Best
that
limited series
Marrok
2024. It's going to be nominated. Marrok. Best limited series. Best limited Marrok. Yeah.
A Star Wars story is being played by the stunt performer Paul Darnell. How come every single time I talk about that, somebody tells me, it's actually a lady is the stunt man? Therefore, it is Barriss Offee, you fucking idiot. Like all the time, I'm like, what are you talking about? But
I want to see these texts you get. Like, I want to.
God, dude. That's why I'm loving fucking that new social media app that doesn't have DMs. I don't get any
Threads.
Oh, I hope they never put DMs in. I would be happy if they never do. I'll be happy if Twitter fucking chokes on its own vomit and nobody turns over on its side, like fucking goes down Hendrix style. And then we never get private messages.
Went dark.
Yeah, it did.
Dark fast.
But you know what? He wrote Foxy Lady and then he had no more to say.
Oh,
Purple Haze.
By the way, the Oppenheimer trailer played last night in IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
And right when it ended, someone behind me was like, I want to see Barbie. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know how that happened, how people looked at Oppenheimer and saw Barbie. I don't know how that worked, but that's something else, man.
It's because they're fucking geniuses. That's why. I mean,
something else.
I think Barbie's going to be a fun film. But Oppenheimer is going to be a great movie. And I know people have seen it now. And it's a great movie. And I know the same people who've now seen Barbie who say Barbie's just fun. Don't expect too much.
Mario made $1 billion, so we'll see.
How much if money was a factor, Donald Trump would be a great man with a really big dick and not orange.
But now Jim Perry's gonna send me 15 tweets about Donald Trump's big fucking dick, and I don't want to,
You kind of got to come. Yeah. No, I mean, at the end of the day, I would be afraid.
I'm not saying who's the better movie. I'm just telling you, like, what seems to be selling to folks,
Oh, well, we already have the tracking, Rob. Like, we know.
I think it's more of a November film. But what I think is crazy to me, dude, people think like this is like my opinion on the film. I have no opinion on the film. I just think it's a bad idea to release this movie in July. Like, that's just my fucking thing. But what do I know? But I just think it's crazy that the public consciousness now looks at a movie about the making of the atomic bomb and they just think Barbie. Like, that's so weird to me, like how that happened. You know?
Well, no,
you never could have predicted that. Like, that's.
I honestly think that the whole Barbenheimer meme that has come about is funny, and it does almost come down to this idea that people are going to see both. To really participate in Barbenheimer, you must see both Barbie and Oppenheimer. But the reality of the situation is I think one film is going to win out of that. And I just mean if we could quantify just the meme people, not like, I think Barbie will be a more successful film because, my daughter wants to see both because she's a weirdo like me. But I think I'm gonna guess that most people's daughters don't want to see Oppenheimer. My
Yeah.
daughter's favorite movie is also The Founder. I don't know, man. Just roll with it. I guess that's the way it goes. But
The Bob Marley trailer played, which I
how
have
was
no
that?
idea. I don't know enough about Bob Marley to know if that's an accurate portrayal of his personality.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah,
like we had a pretty mixed crowd, and some
yeah,
people were like, "What?" It went
yeah,
long. I'll tell you this: the trailer felt long.
yeah. That's bad for a
So
trailer. Trailer should always
yeah, yeah,
feel.
yeah,
Yeah, it's probably just
yeah.
a bad trailer then. Ahsoka Tano, so back to bestfilmbulletin.com. Ahsoka Tano and our heroes will seemingly face off against Marrok multiple times throughout the series. The latest trailer sees Ahsoka in a confirmation, and I think it means confrontation with the Inquisitor in a forest with red leaves, seemingly being the same forest where Sabine Wren, Natasha Bordizzo, is seen dueling Shin in the last trailer we saw. The initial teaser from April. I think it's Corvus personally. Doesn't look like Corvus. It's just not the entirely scorched part. Could be wrong. I don't know. It's not a scoop or a fucking. It's just my opinion from the visuals. The initial teaser
Maybe
trailer
it's
from.
Mustafar again, like in
Oh
Rise of
god.
Skywalker, right?
Yeah. Hey, remember that time we made a planet that was lava, not lava, and just said like figure it out
It's got trees and shit.
In a Pablo Hidalgo guide, you fucking dorks. I was like, why would you do that? You know?
Yeah, that's good.
And there was like such like easy lines there, like my grandfather's palace once stood here. You're like, oh shit, that's Darth Vader, bro. No, I ain't gonna write it. I got the Batman guy.
All
The
they had to do
Batman.
was go to Darth Vader's palace, and it would have solved problems. Like,
Oh, they
fuck it.
did, Rob. You just didn't know because you didn't pay attention to the foundational structures. If you look at the ground,
Are you
dumbass.
Jim? Are you Jim Perry? Are you
Yeah,
Jim
no,
Perry?
no,
Have you
but
been? Are you been
no, but
catfishing me on the internet?
no, but no,
Twit
but
fishing me?
I am serious though, Rob. That is the castle where they go. That's how bad that was.
Really?
That's the thing is where Darth Vader's castle used to be. The idea is that like they bombed it or something. They fucking took the castle out, and that's the rubble of the castle, and
I
that's where
hate
they
that
find some.
movie. I'm just letting people know.
It's
People,
that's what happens
like
when
in
you're.
a way.
It's what happens, Rob, when you're developing something and then you just make it and release it mid development. That's just what happens.
I'm not saying they're the same film.
Yeah,
I'm saying I dislike it as much as Batman and Robin.
yeah.
That's how much I dislike.
I don't like. I could watch it, so I wouldn't say I dislike it that
It
much.
made me not like J.J. Abrams too much. And I like Joel Schumacher films. I just hate fucking Batman and Robin.
You know what drunks call
right?
that? They call that a moment of clarity. All right, the industrial location
No, I like
is,
Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah,
Super 8.
yeah.
I like Super 8.
You
Don't like
know,
the alien design. I like Super
you know
8.
what? Super 8 had a lot more goodwill with me until I saw the rest of JJ's films. Let's put it that way.
The alien design was bad.
Yeah. So was the alien design in fucking what do you call it? The other bad robot movie.
Yeah,
what
but
was
they
it
did
called?
that on that they yeah, but Cloverfield. But that movie was
Cloverfield,
made.
yeah.
Dude, that movie was
I know.
made.
I
Have you
and
heard
once
about the
again,
making of that?
once
Listen
again,
to Matt Reeves. No, Matt Reeves just did a
Rob. I'm doing the
podcast
auteur theory fallacy right now.
I know, but I'm also trying to show the reality. If people want to
Yeah.
know, he just did an episode with Roger Deakins as a podcast. Cinematographer Roger Deakins. On the Deakins podcast, he had Matt Reeves on, and they go into how that movie was made, and like he goes, I know that's a studio film, but literally, it really wasn't. It was like they shot that movie in like 2-3 weeks, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah. I still like Godzilla better. Tano and Ren are on their journey to find and stop the return of the big series bad Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I don't think you get Godzilla with that Cloverfield, though, Jason. There's a lot of Cloverfield influence in that modern Godzilla film.
Oh, I'm talking about the original Godzilla. Not
okay. I thought you were talking about the Garrett.
Due to the shorter hairstyle being sported by Sabine Wren as Mandalorian cuts its head of the duo's quest beginning. Yeah, she has long hair at the start and short hair later. Though it's not been shown in any of the trailers, an image of Marrok was shown at Star Wars Celebration in April, which saw the Inquisitor piloting a starfighter. Currently, we don't know when this takes place. I'm just going out to get some fries. The Inquisitor could simply be tracking Ahsoka or our heroes to one of the locations we see Marrok and Ahsoka in battle. Alternatively, It could be that our heroes come into conflict with Marrok in space, and we see various shots of Hera Syndulla, Ahsoka Tano, and Sabine Wren in dogfights. So it makes sense.
They're what? Like Michael Vick style? It's
Yeah,
horrible.
Bespin just texted me. You were really not interested in this article. Yeah, not because of you. It's just his name is Marrok, and it's like it's been a little bit of a mystery. And once we know that, we're like, yeah, there, there he
But
is.
these characters tend to show up for like one scene and then they're gone, you know? Or they're
Yeah,
like chicken nuggies, you know? They're like chicken nuggies in the background and you're like, all right.
yeah.
So we'll see, you know. Again,
Marrok,
this is the problem with the series that we've already been watching, these multiple series where characters like this show up and we make a big deal and then in the show they're nothing. And then I get told, but
yeah.
secretly I really enjoyed the show, right? Well, great, you enjoyed it, but look at if Jason's got the fatigue and isn't really thinking about it, it's real. It's a real problem. So if Marrock's gonna be a fucking thing, like Snake Eyes, then Marrok needs to actually be as fucking cool and as useful as Snake Eyes. Needs to be a force to reckon with. It can't be fucking a character who just shows up in a fucking scene and then disappears and we're supposed to all go buy the action figure.
Okay, so he's saying I skipped a bunch of paragraphs. I feel like Bespin today is on a different wavelength than me because I don't think I skipped anything. Marrok is being played by the stunt performer, so I'd said that. She's dueling Shin. The initial teaser trailer from April revealed that Ahsoka will face Marrok in an industrial location, which okay, that's in the picture. The initial location is believed to take place earlier. No, that's not Corvus. That's the witch's planet. That's yeah. Right, this is where she's making the shit for the Thrawn machine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Grenoble Thrawn. Due to the shorter hair, so it's Billy. Whereas the forest confrontation seemingly takes place later in the series when Tano and Ren are on their journey to find and stop the return of the series. But I don't know what did I skip, man. What? The paragraph above the Embo one is where you're supposed to pick up. The paragraph above the Embo. We know pretty much nothing in regards to Marrok. Is there talking about when is talking about that? Marrok is shown at Star Wars Celebration, whatever. Anyways, yeah, I'm sure it's captivating. I'm just gonna have to let this one go. Rare. Did I miss this right here? We know pretty much nothing in regards to Marrok, with Lucasfilm attempting to keep their cards close to their chest in regards to the Ahsoka series. Which once again, yeah, like this character is clearly just a character who can die. Like it's very, very obvious. And the name of Marrok itself comes from Arthurian legend, with the names believed to be associated with a knight that's thought to be a werewolf. It's clear that it's thought to be a werewolf. It's clear in Marrok's design, in particular their helmet. It's been inspired by medieval knights and give Dave Filoni's obsession with wolves. It seems fitting that the name be bestowed on the Inquisitor. So basically, the takeaway is the Inquisitor is named after Embo's dog. that's the takeaway there. They named him after Embo's pup.
Wolfie.
Marrok, who is going to be in Kenobi, you guys. Just trust me. Marrok is also a name that's been. I mean, sorry, not Kenobi. Boba Fett. He's going to be in Boba Fett. He's going to fight. Trust me. Marrok is also a name that's been used by Dave Filoni in the past during the Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Marrok was a Nuba and a companion to the bounty hunter Embo. We can't learn much from the Clone Wars Marrok, but the design of the creature that was a wolf, seemingly hinting once again at the Arthurian legend. In 2012, Dave Filoni mentioned that Embo and Marrok were his homages to G.I. Joe characters Snake Eyes and Timber. I wonder if the Ahsoka character Marrok is also inspired by Filoni's Filoni's loves. Come on, Filoni. You know you love that, Filoni, right? Loves this.
I mean, he drank a Pacifico 3 hours ago and he's been passed out since.
Actually, Rob, don't tell anybody that we just gave him A&W root beer and tell him it's beer. So, of the G.I. Joe franchise, specifically Snake Eyes, and the Inquisitor does bear a resemblance to the iconic G.I. Joe character. So it seems like, oh, you know what else is kind of interesting is like that one Snake Eyes. And remember how I was saying the other guy is supposed to be based off of Destro?
Destro, yeah.
Yeah. The
I was telling
Ahsoka's
someone about that yesterday.
maybe Bespin Bulletin needs to update the fucking article with that bit of
Yeah.
analysis.
And
Anal
then my friend was like,
assist.
"Who's Destro?" And I was like, "You're younger. You don't
Oh,
know."
give me a fucking break.
They don't know, Jason. They
Everybody
don't know.
knows. Everybody knows who Destro is. Fucking. But by the way, I was with my kids in Target the other day, and walked by, and they were like looking at like toys, and then my son pulls out what's her name, Baroness. Like they had like a vintage Baroness figure on the pegs at Target, and I was like, yeah, I was like when I was like a little kid, I had like a crush on her.
Yeah.
And then my daughter pulls it out and she's all, this looks like my mommy, and it looks like, and it's just them and girlfriends I had. I'm like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
But it happens. But anyways, Shogun, thank you for the $10 super chat, Shogun. I appreciate all the
Oh,
support,
thanks,
man.
man. Yeah. That's cool.
I see Oppenheimer as a niche film. Yeah, Explosion of the Bomb is worth it, but maybe peeps don't see it as more than that. If you're not a nuke nerd, it's people talking in rooms. I mean, it depends on what kind of visual language he is adding to the actual like narrative itself. Because I mean, like when you, I hate to say this, but it's like when you get down to it, when you get past the killing, things like the Holocaust are people talking in rooms, and
But
you
there's
can
something you can
definitely.
learn from the Holocaust. Like I got in this discussion with a friend yesterday. I said,
Oh, there's a lot
like
we can learn
Schindler's List.
from Oppenheimer, dude.
Schindler's List is a super downer, but there's like a lesson to be learned. At the end of the day, with nuclear weapons, they're out. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going. It can vaporize you or never be used, and you have no say in it.
Well, Rob, we went from the A bomb, and then what we didn't go, holy shit, I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. We went to the H bomb. We
Yeah.
just kept going.
Yes.
So there might be a takeaway here that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And
Terminator
about
2 did it
the
well.
ramifications of yeah, but once
But
again,
like I'm just telling you, man. Like
I think it's a message that could be beneficial to hear again and again, and it might help if one of these little fucking gifted ass nerds goes and sees, yeah, if I do this thing because I can, you know what, I'm actually a shithead for it.
right.
Now,
Call
I
me
think
cynical for thinking they're not going to take away
and
that lesson. Like,
I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with the comments on it. Yes, if Oppenheimer didn't do it, somebody else was going to do it. And then once Oppenheimer did it, and it wasn't theoretical anymore, then it was out. I completely concede that. I don't think they needed to drop the second one. I don't really think they needed to drop the first one, but I understand it. Second one, they didn't need to do it. They didn't even get the president's fucking authority for it. But that right there is that's the lesson for the little Oppenheimers out there, I think. But I don't know what perspective the movie takes. You know, I could get all of it if I wanted to right now. And I was just like, you know what? I think on that one, I'm just gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Like Oppenheimer, I don't think getting spoilers Oppenheimer is gonna help me enjoy it more. So yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how you know you're right. I mean, Rob, it could be fucking military industrial complex weapon porn. It could just at the end of the day, it could be that. Um, I don't, I doubt it will be, but it could be. It's not like Hollywood hasn't done that before, you know, and won't, and they will
the
do it
thing with
again.
Nolan is he rarely ever leaves you feeling one way or the other in any film. About he's not very good with transferring the human experience. He's kind of like Dunkirk is a visual to experience. You don't come away with it going, "What did we learn about that?" You know, like what did this character like?
But the Dunkirk narrative wasn't about a lesson. It was about like perseverance. It was about coming together and
Right.
that kind of stuff. So I get what you're saying, but that's only if we take an auteur at his word
Well,
and say he's
I
only that thing that he's done before, which isn't necessarily like the case.
Well,
This might be
just
the
to
one
play
where he
Rob
does take
Bingo
a
for a
stand.
second, I'm gonna bring it up. Like my stepfather, did nuclear biological chemical in the army for almost 40 years until his retirement from the 60s all the way up through Desert Storm.
Right.
I ended up in nuclear biological chemical. I did not want to go into that because he would
Mm-hmm.
show me all his fucking TMs and blah blah. He'd tell me what would happen. I
Mm-hmm.
ended up in it when I got injured in the military when I was a tanker. For my sake, I have no interest to sit in that room and experience my military training in real time.
Yeah.
Like I do think if you want to listen to the more interesting story, Dan Carlin did a series of 4 or 5 podcasts on hardcore history about after the bomb,
Mm-hmm.
that brief period of time when we were the only ones with nuclear weapons before the Russians got it, right? Like
Yeah.
52
Like
or
3
something.
years or something. It was
Yeah, this brief window and how like civilian control of it,
4 years.
like the
Mm-hmm.
military wanted to use them all over the place and shit, actually benefited, like so there's a more interesting story there to be learned, I think, but at the end of the day, man, like the movie that everyone talked about James Cameron wanting to make that he optioned the book to was the guy who survived inadvertently the bomb dropping, right? And I think like he went through the second one too. Like, and his mom fucking, his mom lived through the first bombing, this Japanese dude. And
Mm-hmm.
when she went, there was nothing to cremate. Her bones were so brittle, she just like fell apart, like there was
Mm-hmm.
nothing left in the ash. The ash just incinerated. There's nothing there. Like that's the
Um,
more, that story I think is the one to learn something from more than our end. Because it's just beating the
yeah.
Nazis to the bomb, you know.
Well,
The,
no, like last podcast on the left did like a multi-part episode on the bomb and Oppenheimer and stuff. And when you listen to that one, like they go into like what really happened and how they didn't let the American public know what happened. It wasn't until it took a few years because they had everything behind media walls where you couldn't say things. And finally, somebody went and did the research on it, figured out, and it started interviewing people that survived the bomb drop, and then said, and they were supposed to submit it to the military for approval. They just said fuck it and send it right to the New Yorker or something like that, and got it
right.
out. Like, and then that's why we know. And they were on like those like old 50s like game shows, like This Is Your Life. You got like Guess Who's the Liar and all that kind of shit. They had
Yeah.
this show like where they had like the guy from the Enola Gay with the people who were fucking mutilated in the bomb, and they had them behind a curtain so you couldn't see them.
Fuck.
That's fucked up. Like the
Right.
people should have saw what they did. And like up to
Right.
like around that point, I guess, like, it was pretty common for people to be like pro bomb them again, keep it going. And then and like, because they didn't know what they were doing.
For,
And
for
the
my
bomb
money, these conversations are the
Yeah.
realm of Twilight Zone. Like I
Mhm.
feel like it's better to be had. I mean,
Yeah.
you still need smart writing, but I just feel like it's you're not going to appeal to the MAGAs who run around saying turn him to glass with this movie. They're not learning anything.
We can't help though. Those people are lost. They are so stupid that there's nothing we can do for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
at the
run
end of
for
the
office
day,
now, so
I know, no, but there's absolutely nothing that we can do for those people.
Right.
Like that's the whole thing. Everybody, I was just hearing like Dave Anthony on one of his podcasts talking about like debating. He's like, why the fuck did we debate? He's all, we go and you debate these people, and then they just say a bunch of nonsense, and then one guy gets his mind changed, and it's for the wrong side just because he's a fucking idiot. He's like, these debates with these people, they don't make any sense, and I tend to kind of agree. With
that being said, I'm glad Nolan's making this and not Michael Bay. You understand what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Well, and maybe this is maybe this starts a Hollywood trend, and maybe we go and we see actually what it looked like to be in Hiroshima like the day after or during. Maybe we see the meat falling off of people's backs and like children who are in the room, and a black tar monster walks in and they freak out. It turns out it's mommy just walking home to die. Like, and that's where when I look at the thing like the Oppenheimer stuff, I doubt it's going to go there. And that's one of the things that it you need because atomic weaponry sounds like just putting a gun to your mouth and pulling the trigger, but it's fucking way more brutal than that. It's like
It's
it's not
beyond
that.
human understanding.
Yeah, it's so
I mean,
horrible.
if you really want to just get a general sense of it,
Yeah,
they did bomb tests out in the ocean, you know, and they filmed it
at
with
Bikini
Navy
Atoll.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they
that was
filmed it with
Bikini
Navy
Atoll.
guys,
Oh,
and the
I've seen the
guys
men.
saw
Their
the
arms fell
bones.
off.
Yeah,
Their fucking jaws fell off and shit. They knew that was gonna happen to them too, and they said,
right.
"Oh, you just get cancer because you're smoking a pack of Marlboros a day." Yeah, there's a good documentary about Bikini Atoll that is really worth watching. And then there's also references to like other documentaries like Atomic Cafe that you see mentioned in Indiana Jones 4. But that shit's like, yeah, the stuff with the soldiers. Like, have you seen that all of that shit, Rob? I assume you have.
Yeah,
Yeah, the sailors, I should say.
the
Like it's
sailors. Yeah,
yeah, it's fucking like and those guys got it later, so there's better footage of it. Is the point,
right.
and it's fucking awful. And yeah, and that's something that I would say like I hate to use the is now peacetime. It's not a great time, but we're not necessarily in the West anyways directly in like let's go get them kind of war moment, and that's kind of when it's important that people I think maybe learn what the ramifications of 9/11 happens, and they're saying turn the Middle East into glass.
Except
It's like
all the conversation being had about it is wrapped around Barbie. So I don't know if they're learning anything, Jason. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't know. I think the trauma. Look, if I had to guess, if I was going to
Mhm.
psychoanalyze this, right? Like behind the mind trauma, I think it's so traumatic a thought to the human experience that you have to wrap Barbie around it to get your to not run away. Like there's a subconscious shadow on people with the thing that can get you and destroy
Mhm.
you. You know, we've been living in it since 9/11 in this country, whether we want to admit it or not. And then you and I grew up still with the Cold War, you know, like, and
Mhm.
I think there is some level of undue trauma there that, you know, it makes it easier to wrap it in pink Barbie dolls and mid-journey posters, you know, to like
It's
make
like
light of it in some way.
yeah, but what it ends up like what it in a weird way. I haven't seen the film, so I don't. They may not go very far. They're still like Hollywood films. When you get down to it, most Hollywood films at the end of the day still propagate like normality, the norms that we're expected of in our culture. But Barbie might be a complete rejection of 1950s femininity at the end of the day. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I could see that movie being that. And then you have the Oppenheimer thing that might be saying, hey, this shit was a terrible idea and it changed the world. And here's how it happened. And here's what, because like Oppenheimer later on, like there were people who wanted him to run for president and shit, but he had a communist girlfriend because he's fucking cool as shit on that front. He's like, I like communist girls,
Emily Blunt?
honestly. Yeah. Yeah. And then he had a
All
communist
right.
girl. And so he's about like the rest of his career. Like he got like his name taken off of awards or he never like awards that would have been named after him weren't. And it wasn't like he finally kind of got like reinstituted later on. But anyways, point being, yeah, I mean, there might be I'm curious because I can't think of a time and maybe the movies don't matter and nobody sees them. I don't know, but the tracking says they will. But you have these movies together do make a message together, don't they? Like if it does go that way, if it is, I
From an
mean, this
anthropological standpoint,
might,
yes, that's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
like
Yeah.
like somebody goes and sees Oppenheimer. I mean, when we get down to it, that's like a good 4 to 5 hours of indoctrination into an ideology. If there should be coherency between them, I'm curious. Like I think this is fascinating. Like where it's going with it. Like I'm curious to see what these movies actually say, if they say anything at all. But um, Mariah just says my mom's cousin was one of the soldiers that was sent to watch one of the test drops. His son just found out he has a very rare cancer, and it was because of the bomb his dad viewed. Yeah,
Right.
that's pretty fucking common. And what they'll do is they'll try and say like, oh yeah, like John Wayne. They went and filmed a Western where they were testing the bomb. And they brought the dirt back with them to the set. So, like, like the Mando set that I have, imagine if all of that dirt was radioactive. And then they say, oh, no, they didn't die from it because they all died at the same rate as the normal population of people, except for they were young.
Right.
If you don't take age into account, yes. If you take age into account, it is no. They all died from that bomb. Like the atomic bomb killed John Wayne. Think about that. That's fucking wild. That's
and
crazy.
They still won't admit it.
And no, it's the truth. It's not even a conspiracy. Right. You could see
go out. Well, there's that guy
amazing.
who cut through the deserts out in Area 51 or whatever, right? Now he cut through there to get to Area 51, but he went through the radioactive parts, and he fucking died from it. You know what I mean? Like, because he was trying to go the back way.
That's a little funny,
died a kid, right?
Yeah. Don't storm Area 51. Don't run
by cutting
don't
through
Naruto
irradiated
run.
fucking desert.
Yeah. If he Naruto ran though when he into there, I'm gonna say he lived his best life.
If you're gonna do it in the desert.
Shogun Orda, thank you for the super chat again. $5 super chat from Shogun says, I find it funny, a probably unwitting meta commentary on 1950s America that Barbie and Oppenheimer are coming out together. One fantasy-esque, other harsh truth. Yeah, and like that's the thing is like they're marketing Barbie as if you love Barbie, blah blah blah. And I'm guessing it's if you love Barbie, the fashion's still there. So why your vapid ass loves Barbie is gonna be there. And if you hate Barbie for probably some other sociological reason, it's there too. I think that's what
I'll be watching Mission Impossible. That's where you'll find me.
Yeah, but you're in a cult. It's different. Anyways, yeah.
All hail Cruisehead.
You know what? Your cult leader showed himself buying tickets to both of those movies, so I'm pretty sure you're supposed to see it. I think that was a directive directly at you.
The army will tell you I'm not very good at following orders.
Oh shit. Yeah. No. So yeah. At the end of the day, like I don't know, it could be a really fascinating like double feature. It could be. I'm gonna see both of them, and I'm still like. See, like the thing about it, about that movie too, Rob, that I think like a lot of people might be overlooking. I don't know if this is in the film or not, but like, like the bomb fucking is like as bright as the sun when it comes off and shit. When it goes off for like a good 3 seconds or something. Like we're talking about like people like put their hands in front of their face would get like a sunburn that was like permanent onto their face though, yeah. like a fucking clone trooper helmet, like that one with the handprint. And so visually there's a chance that the movie has found a way to replicate those kinds of moments, and if it does, if it really is able to put you into that like scenario where you really like kind of feel that and see that, then it could be visually an amazing movie that you're like, I see why this was a summer movie. I don't know. I mean, Nolan could probably pull it off if anybody could. Doesn't mean it does, though. But
I'm not great at predicting box office. I can just tell you why I'm not going to see it. I'll see it at home. But
yeah.
I have to have a stiff drink, and I have to watch it by myself. I cannot go to a theater and deal with this. It's just not... moving my hand, someone's on popcorn while the fucking nuclear bomb's going on. I just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah.
I can't deal with it.
Yeah. Bestman says he said you'll almost feel it. So I'm guessing that's going to be like that light and that, the visual of the light and the sound. I'm guessing it's going to be a stellar job. But
yeah, I'm not, just like if they were making a movie about the chemical weapons attacks in World War One, right? And the first use of mustard gas and that shit. And they really showed how I think it's important for people to see it. However, I'm fully informed on this subject, Yeah. And I don't really want to live through it again, Like I don't want to deal with that.
I won't retell it here. But me and Bespin were playing video games the other day, and we had probably a good 15-minute Clerk-style conversation about whether the dicks go over. Is Barbie a little doll when she's in her world and then goes up to our size when she gets here? we were trying to figure out the ins and outs of that, and I have no idea, but I'm gonna, because in my opinion, we know Ken doesn't have a dick. We've all looked; he doesn't have one. So if when he comes here he gets one, they have to have a scene where Ken realizes he has a dick, right? But if Ken realizes he has a dick, he's gonna take it out. He's gonna be like shaking that thing around and everything. Wouldn't you think? I mean, that makes sense, right? But anyways,
The only Ken I know is from Street Fighter, so I couldn't tell you.
Really?
Ken Masters.
All I know is that girls would be like, you could play Ken and we can make him kiss. All right, the Royal Fino. My girlfriend does not care to see either movie. Jason's daughter probably has better media literacy than my girlfriend does. Yeah, my daughter she's a little
she
weirdo.
watched Greasy Strangler. Of course she does.
Well, I showed her segments of it.
All right,
I showed her a couple of clips, a couple of moments. Yeah. Yeah, and she still like quotes that stuff. Like we'll just be like at a restaurant, she'll be like, "I need more grease on my dog" and stuff like that. And people are just like, "What is this kid on about?" But she knows it makes me laugh, so she does it. Brian Stone says that's what she said, Bespin. Yeah, you almost feel it. All right, let's look at the last article really quickly here, because we got Disney destroying writers, taking homes away from families because it's what they do.
Yeah.
And then we got them buying awards now. Now, yesterday, Rob made a snide little remark about David Tennant winning an award he actually earned, an Emmy he actually earned. Now we are in a place where, Rob, you got free reign, buddy. Do whatever you want. As far as I'm concerned, you could just go to town on this one. Star Wars at the 2023 Emmys. The Mandalorian, Andor, and Obi-Wan earned 22 nominations combined. So today, the 2023 Emmy nominations were unveiled, and Lucasfilm have a lot to celebrate as The Mandalorian, Andor, and Obi-Wan Kenobi picked up a combined total of 22 nominations. You can support Bespin on Threads, Patreon, and Coffee. And follow me on Threads, and you can become a channel member here, and I like that.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a visual effects guy, but I'm going to remove visual effects from these awards because I assume Star Wars should be winning them. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's more of a news to me when Star Wars doesn't get nominated for visual effects.
Yeah, that
Star Wars doesn't win or doesn't get no. That's Star Wars should be the leader in visual effects.
And so when it does and it's awarded, so it should be rewarded.
Well, then hey, that's what it should be doing. But I'm more impressed when it steps out and wins something it normally wouldn't.
That would be like saying Succession shouldn't win awards, but I'll care when it gets a visual effects award. When
Succession's been around for 50 fucking years, sure, but the show's done and over with, so it's not the same.
Rob, you could change it to whatever you want. You can make it dead.
You told me I could bitch about whatever I want. Now you're telling me I can't. I feel
about the awards. Now you're saying
this is about the awards.
That is a crazy arbitrary standard.
Again, you think you can figure me out, but you can't figure me out, Jay.
Oh no, because you don't make sense. Without question, the highlight of the nominations go to Andor. Which
when Star Wars gets a Razzie for visual effects, that's when I'm like, whoa, there you go. Yeah. that's some new territory.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, the Star Wars isn't doing what Star Wars films do in television now. So without question, the highlight of the nominations goes to Andor, which received a nomination for outstanding drama series. So that's probably the biggest win in terms of awards stuff.
It's far more competition in a drama series because a limited series is more. There's not as many limited series, to be honest with you. These days, if you say we're never making more of this, that it's kind of a rarity. Even Poker Face is getting a season 2. So it's like
wasn't a fan of them doing the reboot towards the end so that way you could get your season 2.
I agree. I thought it was a great turn with the Ron Perlman bit, but then it went into a reboot, and I'm like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
she should have become Columbo at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we start season 2 with her learning the actual detective part.
I would have been happier, at the end of it if she ended up with the small bit of cash, what'd you do with the cash, and then you see she has a little office now or something like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with you.
Outstanding drama series, so for Andor, which is great, alongside heavy hitters such as Better Call Saul, The Crown, The Last of Us, House of the Dragon, Succession, The White Lotus, and Yellow Jackets. So
Do
number
you think
one,
House of the Dragon should have been in that? I thought Stranger Things this year or was it last year? It was last year.
I don't know.
Was it
Yeah, I
House of the
mean,
Dragons? I gave up on. Sorry, I
I
don't think
know
it's as good
I
as those.
I liked it a lot, but I also don't think it's necessarily like a lot of people get mad when I talk about the original Game of Thrones stuff, like what the Khaleesi. Just watch Khaleesi scenes, not the ones where she's just naked. It's like all of them. She can't act in half of them, so it's like not that great of a drama, is it? When the acting's really bad. So, anyways, the White Lotus, blah blah blah. Andor picked up 8 nominations in prestigious categories, and Obi-Wan Kenobi landed at high-profile nominations for outstanding limited or anthology series, where it's up against Beef, Dahmer, Daisy Jones, Six, Feisman is in Trouble, as well as landing an additional 4 nominations. Yeah, I'd say probably maybe I would give it to Beef out of all of those. Maybe Beef's a little silly though. Yeah,
I
whatever.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think you should. I think it's one of those shows you might be able to watch like while you're working. Maybe I don't know, because it's just like people kind of complaining at each other, but it's funny. The Mandalorian season 3 picked up the most nominations, really, with 9 in total, but wasn't selected in the more prestigious or big awards. Though leading man Pedro Pascal did get nominated for his role as of Joel Miller in HBO's The Last of Us, Bespin Bulletin's favorite video game and show, in the best lead actor category. You can read the list of nominations in Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the Mandalorian below. So yeah,
Well,
Andor.
maybe if he was actually in Mando, he might have had a chance to get nominated.
So like Andor got outstanding drama series, outstanding original main title theme music. I think it should win that. I think that was maybe the most avant-garde and
The
good.
fact that when you line them all up, they become a big thing too.
The main theme, yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding cinematography for a series. That's fair. Rick's Road. Outstanding directing for a drama series for Rick's Road. Outstanding music composition for a series, Rick's Road. Outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama series, 1 hour, The Eye. Outstanding sound editing. I wonder what it was about that one. I don't remember.
The big bomb fireworks meteor shower one.
Yeah, but what about that one was like? Oh, visual. Wait, was that outstanding sound? That's for sound editing. Yeah, the visual,
and the heist.
Yeah, outstanding visual effects in season 1 or movie. Outstanding writing for a drama series, One Way Out. So, I think those are all great though. Obi-Wan Kenobi, outstanding limited anthology series. Outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes. Outstanding picture editing.
I disagree with that. Like, I don't think the costumes.
The costumes are good. The costumes are definitely good.
I have to respectfully disagree.
I mean, you're confusing the Mandalorian with this one. With Obi-Wan Kenobi's costumes and the Mandalorian's costumes are night and day different in terms of quality.
So we're talking about Kenobi or we're talking about Mandalorian?
What about Kenobi right now?
Yeah, I say Kenobi's not good. I don't.
Kenobi has
or not.
You've laughed at the Mandalorian costumes, and rightfully so. But the Kenobi ones aren't the same quality. The Kenobi ones are well done costumes. They're expensive. It's not like in Ahsoka where we see like the Maideen outfits and then like they're from Party City. Like they didn't Party City up Kenobi.
No, you got me on that one. I guess I didn't like either one of them. Look, I'm not telling you. It's not like my opinion means you gotta believe it, folks. I'm just telling you. Like,
I don't.
All right.
Outstanding sound editing for a limited or anthology series, movie or special. Outstanding sound mixing for a limited anthology series. So the mixing, mixing does suck today though. When you go to watch shows for the most part, like I'm cool if you have 5.1 or 7.1 and like they're catering to you. But I want a good stereo mix at the end of the day because that's mostly what I'm going to be watching this shit in.
I don't want to be able to hear the fucking talking through their stereo mixes, which is a fucking nightmare to deal with.
I saw Soundgarden live and I can't hear some frequencies anymore. So, outstanding cinematography for this is Mandalorian. Got outstanding cinematography for The Foundling. Outstanding fantasy sci-fi costumes for Guns for Hire. Outstanding period and or but you also have to remember like the Mando's main costume and shit like that, and like the Praetorians, that still like ends up kind of counting on
I
some of the
know,
shit.
but 3
But
seasons in, you
yeah,
shouldn't win for the same costumes. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's why.
You already won that for those costumes. What about the new
So
shit?
character or hairstyling for the convert.
Salad the Hut. I don't, you know.
Who had hair in the convert? Is that the one with is that the one with fucking Lizzo?
Yeah.
Is that
I
where
think
the
that
hair comes from?
is. Yeah, and I
Outstanding
really
period.
disagree with the costumes in that episode.
Well, that was terrible costume. Yeah. Outstanding period and or character makeup, non-prosthetic for Guns for Hire. Outstanding sound mixing for a
Wait,
comedy or
was
drama
the
series.
Lizzo episode Guns for Hire?
I don't remember.
Now I gotta look this
I don't
shit
remember
up, dude.
what the titles are.
Hold on, Mando season 3.
Because it's telling them like it's like chapter
Episode.
24, and I'm like, I just remember it as season.
I know.
The season episodes.
I just remember Pain.
And then it got outstanding visual effects in a season or movie, which it did get. It did have
Guns for Hire's the Bryce Dallas Howard episode with the droid episode with fucking
with Lizzo, right?
Yeah, Axwell. Yeah, that's the Lizzo episode.
It's the Lizzo one. Yeah.
Really disagree with that one.
Yeah, it had people, well, we have to look. There's people in the background with hair, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Don't care.
Yeah, that's Hollywood like patting themselves on the back.
No, that's Disney buying nominations.
Right. Well, they Weinstein their way through.
Yeah, outstanding stunt performance. I could see the stunt performer getting credit there. I would give it to him. I'd give it to him. But
the Warriors this year, it's not like there's just other shows, man, that have far better stunts than Mando. Like just maybe they're not high profile, but whatever.
Bestman says, not surprisingly, Kenobi didn't get any VFX nominations, and Lizzo is Guns for Hire. Yeah.
And whereas Kenobi, I'm not saying that show should. I'm saying Star Wars should be getting it. That's the bigger. When Star Wars doesn't get even a nomination, that's a big deal, dude.
That logic, like I disagree with it because in 1999, The Matrix won Best Visual Effects over The Phantom Menace, and I'm sorry, but it just didn't have.
But it got nominated.
The
Phantom Menace got nominated. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. This is not even a nomination.
I know. But what I'm saying, but by that same logic, that's what that would mean was The Matrix.
If that says something negative about The Phantom Menace, and perhaps you should not have done an all CGI army versus another CGI army.
That's not what it was. It was that if these people voted on, that's amazing. How did they fucking do it? And that's why it won. It was ridiculous. Yeah. The Phantom Menace's visual effects hold up 20 years later. The Matrix visual effects can't get arrested. It's fucking awful. It's really
not awful,
but it is awful. It is awful. It's rose tinted glasses. You could look at it today and you could be like, no, the
Sentinels look CGI, but the visual effects as a whole are not awful.
It was a gimmick. The Sentinels look
Awful's
stupid.
Fucking Lost in Space, bro. Go watch that shit with Mott LeBlanc, your favorite actor.
And but when you get down to it, the fucking so you're okay. Just yes or no. The Matrix in totality is better than the 10 minutes of the pod race, visual effects wise. Award winning.
Okay. The problem is people talk during the pod race. Little Lanny's going out the corner. Like that's the problem.
No, that's
arbitrary.
The
problem. Standard. It's hard to fucking no. It's a big part because he's narrating the whole fucking pod race. It's the last lap of the pod race when he stops talking.
You're talking drama.
It's the best part.
You're talking drama. It's
Matrix is all drama.
It's not a exactly.
And so when the visual effects
effects award
align with the
doesn't
drama,
give a fuck if the music is good. It doesn't care if you can have the guy from The Room in it. The guy from The Room could be in Anakin's pod race, and the visual effects
he wasn't
would still but the visual effects would still be what the award is about. And once again, that's it doesn't. Yeah, Star Wars should be. I disagree.
I love the Matrix though because there's so many of the people who storyboard they're comic book artists. Steve Scross was on it. Jeff Darrow developed all. I mean, that's a comic book nerd film, man. I'm not shitting on the Matrix like you. Sorry, I'll shit on the other fucking Matrix,
Oh,
2, 3, and 4.
comic
No
book
problem.
guys are the
That
worst.
first one, no,
They're
I'm
so
not shitting on it.
Comic book people are
I'm
the
not
worst.
Shit. No, the
Comic
people who
book
make
people
comics are not. Comic
are
book
the
fans,
worst.
well,
No,
you know,
I'm just fucking
it's
with
debatable.
you. I'm just fucking. But no, but at the end of the no,
we can be the
no.
worst.
I think we could objectively say that in terms of the quantity of visual effects and the quality, Phantom Menace has better and more and better effects. We could probably like fucking map it out. But it won off of a gimmick, but that's what ends up being, because they end up going, oh well, of course, like let's not give, like, I don't want to say Woody Allen, let's not give Kevin Smith's fucking best small film because he's, or Quentin Tarantino because he's Quentin fucking Tarantino. That's how they are. That's how they fucking do it.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
do
just
that.
like, but
they should be getting nominated. For them to not nominate the Phantom Menace would be ridiculous.
But that's why awards are inherently fucking stupid for art. It's fucking stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense unless you're making the same movie. That's the only way it makes sense. It's this fucking sports logic. It's stupid.
Look, it wouldn't be stupid.
And it's good for the industry.
Those
that's
awards,
why it exists.
hold on.
But
here's where it all falls apart. Okay. The reason why at the end of the day I'm against it is because if those awards meant that those studios could then command the visual effects studios could then command higher rates because they're award winning, then it would be good, right? Like, it works for actors. When actors and actresses fucking get an Oscar award, they're able to command more money their fucking next movie, right? But visual effects studios go out of fucking business.
Well, so what they've done is, it used to be that you would contract Weta or, like, let's say ILM, the big boys, right? But now when you go to see a movie, what do you see? You see 5
the lowest bidder. The lowest bidder.
8. Well, no, it's a bunch of contingent contract labor work at the end of the day.
Because now it's all done on the lowest bidder. So it's not like the awards help boost your ability to be profitable. They just demand more and more visual effects now at lower and lower rates. So this works. This doesn't work.
There's a big parallel here with what's going on with the writers, isn't there? Like, that's essentially what they're trying to do to writers. And it's what a corporation is inherently designed to do: eat and not pay for it. Pay as little as you can to keep eating. And in the end, it's going to be a turd. And but that's why the writers need to fucking stand up. But also why I hate awards. I think, like, the best script of last year, I don't know. Best film I saw last year was After Sun. It didn't get an award. I don't think it got nominated for anything. I don't think so. Anyways, I could be wrong. I don't think it did, though. And so it doesn't have to do with what's best. It has to do with who campaigned and whose best interest is it that this award is won. That's, at the end of the day, like, what these things come down to. But like real Ben Maynard once said, Rob, everything can't be Avatar visual effects.
No, but Star Wars should be at Star Wars level. And it's at this point, show me, if you look at the visual effects in Kenobi and Mando season 1, there's a disconnect.
Rob, I think that the thing is, in all of this stuff, they're all going to be products of their day and in the medium in which they are released. So Star Wars visual effects are good for TV in 2023. They are.
Yeah.
But they're still...
But it doesn't hold up the Mando season 2 visual effects.
But they're
still at the same time as Kenobi.
They're still TV in 2023.
Correct. But I'm not comparing it to TV. I'm comparing it to other Star Wars TV that came out and was produced and built at the same time, and it doesn't hold up.
But the reasons that it doesn't hold up aren't for the reasons that you're making it seem that they are. The reasons that they don't hold up is that the budget was that they weren't going to go to Tunisia.
And that was the one they were supposed to spend money on.
That was the one that was going to be a film. Yeah, it should have been a film. At the end of the day,
it's the one you spend the money on. You don't go cheap on the Kenobi when you have the fucking actor. It's just ridiculous.
But I keep having to tell you this: they didn't go cheap on the Kenobi. That's where everybody is wrong. There's been stuff about the Kenobi budget that's not right.
How about that?
No, no. At the end of the day, it didn't work. Is what it comes down to. But you're never. the Kenobi visuals would never be in a film, but there always will be a different standard for television than film. Just we can't deny it.
Sure.
Wait, tell him.
You don't see me
you
complaining
did.
about the visual effects in the Ahsoka trailer. You know, like
Yeah.
at the same time, they're not movie level visual effects. They're really good TV effects. You know.
Yeah.
Nope. No complaints, dude.
Kids are back from the pool right now, so
no complaints. You know?
Yeah.
So far, until I watch the show, and then if it.
But I just see like a lot of times, not you specifically, but like people will be like, yeah, like you look at this shot like in the Rise of Skywalker, and then in Mandalorian 4 it doesn't do, and you're just like, dude,
well, that's ridiculous.
Like it's not the same price point.
And it beyond price point, you can't do a look. These are the same people saying they're spending too much money on these shows, but they want 10 hours of fucking a 2-hour movie. Look how much money it costs for movies to do visual effects. You can't do 10 hours of it, 24 hours of it, and for what, 100? What do they want, dude? Like,
yeah,
it's just weird.
Jake says maybe the Kenobi VFX would have looked better if it wasn't suffering for Birdo because Deborah Chow thought shaky cam 90% of the time was a good idea. Honestly, Jake, I think shaky cam was to cover for the lack of time that they had.
There's way bigger issues. There's continuity issues, like that water that's right behind him and then flies through the fucking door when he crows and he's all dry. I don't fucking know. Like there's no water that goes through the thing. Like it's just consistently, it's inconsistent. It's just weird. It's just a weird show.
Yeah, Ben says, yeah, there's definitely a different center for TV versus film. I'm a big fan of the TV show of the Arrow TV show. And I can look the other way on the visual effects versus the screen in DC movie. Yeah, that's always the thing, is like, where do people go? It's not okay. It's TV and it's okay. And Kenobi was the one where they found that out. And also it's the one where they tested it. I would prefer if they had tested it on something different, not Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm glad Acolyte's going to look good, apparently. But like something like Acolyte might have been where you could have got away with it. People could have still enjoyed it. But on the Kenobi one, that's not the one to do it. Bestman says Kenobi had a rush production and post-production. They moved it out of Pinewood to MBS 3 months before shooting. They released it with just 6 months worth. Yeah, it was definitely fucking, and that's why it still wasn't cheap, you know. But anyways, we're gonna call it. We've got an hour and a half, so we're gonna call it here, guys. Thank you to everybody for being a channel member and supporting the show, and thank you for all the super chats and Shogun Order specifically for supporting the show. I really appreciate it, man. And we'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and all that jazz. And and then Rob,
same op in time, same Barbie channel.
And remember, guys, whenever Rob says something that sounds really smart, it's not, because look at his score on remote control. It's 0.
It's 0.
He doesn't even
know
those answers. So
you got me.
So just
to be fair, they're mostly about Welcome Back Cotter. So like I'm not, my bad, Jason. I'm not familiar with Welcome Back Cotter as much as most people.
I mean, you know,
did you ever play the NES game? 50% of all the questions are about Welcome Back to Cotter. Like,
oh yeah. It was a bad game.
It was a bad game.
Yeah, I even liked games like that. Like remember Anticipation? Remember to, like, draw.
Well, Rare made Anticipation, I think. Rare made Pipe Dreams, which is actually the best. Yeah, for Lucasfilm, but Rare actually made Pipe Dreams. But yeah, it was really good.
Rural Farmer says the MSW channel member is worth the credits. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And then before we go, Skywalker Academy says, may the powers that be with you. And Jenna Chris says, great show watching from vacation in Cancun. Whoa, that's pretty cool, man.
Baller.
You son of a bitch. We don't like you anymore. Nah, have a good time. Have a good
Jason,
time.
Drink your Pacifico to Cancun.
I know. I'm just here in little Cancun. But have a good time, man. Don't get hurt. Be good. Be good.
Don't sleep with Josh Holloway.
Hey.
Is it Josh Holloway? Who's the Aruba guy? That's the actor, right? From Lost. Who's the guy that got? I'm not good with names, folks. I'm horrible.
Yeah. All right.
You do not want me to defend you in court. I'll get the names all fucked up. You don't want.
Yeah. That. Worst lawyer ever. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Rob. See you guys tomorrow.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.